Hey there, it's Kathy with Be Creative with Kathy, and today I have a little bit different project for you. So it's not a card, it's a little air freshener. See how I filled that little mason jar full of I forgot lavender seed, and then I used a little bit of mulberry paper so that you can smell it, a little bit of essential oil, and made it into an air freshener. So let me show you. So I tried to find it. I made these a couple years ago. I cased it from another demonstrator. I looked for her video to give her credit, and I can't find it anywhere now. But let me show you. So a couple years ago, we made one that looked like this at my class. And now you can see on this one, I used the jar that matches the jar. I used the flower, sorry, that matches the jar punch. But then I had to color all that. And I want to make a few of these for some of my craft sales. And I want to make them a lot simpler. So I'm going to bring in the Flower of Friendship bundle. It's a punch bundle. The punch looks like this, although there you can see it there. And the stamp set. And I think it's a little faster to punch rather than it is to color. So that's what I'm going to use. Now, all of these items are in the annual catalog and on my online store. And don't forget, if you place an order of $50 or more, now that's in the US, you can get something for free out of the celebration brochure. You can also see this online and at my online store. So, and my online store will be in the description of this video, or you could go to my blog. Let me get it right, becreativewithkathy.com, and I have a link to the catalog, the brochure there too. Okay, so like I said, let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to start here with some designer series paper. This is in, I always forget the name of this one, In Good Taste designer series paper. It's that one that has all the wood grains, and it reminds me of wallpaper and carpet and stuff like that. But that's what paper we're going to use. I have a little strip here. This is 2 inches by 5.5. Then I have just another little strip of paper, and this is 2 inches by 1 1/4. And I'm going to take this and just adhere it to the bottom of my strip of designer series paper. And this is kind of going to look like the tabletop, so the jar is just sitting on the table with the flowers. It'll look like that. And then while I have this out, I'm going to bring in, this is our detailed trio punch, and I'm going to round these corners down here. Just stick it into that corner and push down. Look how nice it rounds your corners. And do this corner too. And then here up on top, I'm going to bring in this cute little floral. Can you see it there? And I'm going to just put that little floral in the top corners here, there, and there, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and round those corners too. And round that corner. There we go. So now that looks pretty cute, right? Looks pretty good. Then I'm not going to put this too far because we're going to use it again, but I'm going to bring in that jar punch, and I'm going to try to center it. I pushed my paper all the way in, and now because I'm using designer series paper, I would never say to punch through 2 sheets of paper with a punch, but since it's designer series paper and it's a little bit thinner, I'm going to go ahead and punch through both of those, and now I have that little hole for my jar. Okay, we're done with the jar punch. Then I need to stamp some flowers, or at least some stems on there. I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus here. And now, since we're using the stamp set that is red rubber, all I have is my base and then my grid paper. My magnet that comes with the Stamparatus is going to just hold my grid paper onto my plate. And then if you've watched my videos before, you know I like to use this stuff, which is called sticky grid paper. It's not in my online store, but you can find it in a craft store or online. And I like to use the sticky grid paper to hold my actual designer series paper here in place like that. So see, now you see it won't move. It's stuck there pretty good. Then I'm going to bring that big flower stamp here. I moved everything. let's move it so it stays. There we go. And I want this flower to be up here toward the top. In fact, I want the flower to kind of hide that hole in the top that's going to hold my ribbon. So I'm going to center it like that. Okay? But before, well, instead I changed my mind. Before I do that, in case I want to do a bunch of these, I'm going to go ahead and just take a pretty good pen and kind of draw my jar in here, and I'll show you why in just a second. Because if I was going to do a bunch of these after I have my stamp all set up, I could do a bunch. So I'm going to put that back in there. I want to make sure that this leaf is outside the jar. This leaf I'm not going to color, so he won't matter. And he's at the top like I said, so he's centered like that. I'm going to put my plate down, pick up my stamp. Okay, and then I'm going to use my Stampin' Up marker. This is the Evening Evergreen. It's in the in colors, the newest in colors, and I'm only going to color the stems. And I'm going to get this leaf here. And this leaf here. I'm not going to color this one. I don't want it to stamp on my designer series paper, and he's going to be inside the jar. We won't see him anyway. So I have it like that, and then when you close it, let's see how well I did. I did pretty good. See the stem, but I'm going to give it an extra coat just real quick. Make sure those stems are really dark on that designer series paper. There we go. Now when I take this paper off, you see that I have my jar there. So say for instance I wanted to make a bunch of these, I could take another one. Now this one I've already got the holes in it and I've got everything ready. I could just take this one and set it right over that jar, and then just ink up my stems again. And see how fast this would go. I could make a bunch of these in a lot less time than trying to color and stamp with that other, like that. And I could just stamp it down and then repeat the process, and I could make a bunch of them. That's what's nice about the Stamparatus. But let's set this aside and go on. Where am I going to put this? Right here. Okay, bring back in, I lost him. This one. Right now we need to do our flowers. Here I have, this is the Shimmer Vellum. It comes in all the in colors. I'm going to make sure that's what it's called. Yeah, it's a 2021-2023 in color Shimmer Vellum. It looks like this. It comes in the polished pink, the oh, I'm never going to remember what all the in colors are, but the polished pink is what I'm using, and I'm going to use a little bit of that Evening Evergreen. And I wish you could really see, maybe you can see how pretty the shimmer is on that paper. And then with some Versamark, and I have my stamps mounted here, I'm going to go ahead and stamp 2 big flowers and 1 small flower of the stamp set. See how it comes with the 2 big flowers? It also comes with 2 little leaves, but I'm only going to use the smaller leaf on this one because I think that these 3 leaves on this flower are the smaller one. I'm going to use Versamark, and I'm going to heat emboss on the Shimmer Vellum. Now the reason I'm using scraps is because if you look at the punch has all these other pieces that waste a lot of vellum, and I'm stingy with my vellum, what can I say? So with the big flower, I'm going to stamp it so it's in a cross shape, I guess, so 1 petal is up and 1 petal is down. Hold that the ink sink in, and then bring in some of this white embossing powder. Now our embossing powders come in kits, so you get like black, white, and clear, I believe it is, in one. Oh, I lost some paper in there. Talk about second thought. Yeah, I'm gonna let it there. And then our other kits are metallic, so it's like the gold, the bronze, and the silver embossing. So that's how you can buy the embossing powders now. Here is the other large flower. I'm going to just stamp him down here. Remember, he's in the top like a cross shape, the petals up and down. And put a little bit of embossing powder on there. I like to take my embossing powder and then just put it in a container like this and then just scoop it up with the paper. I think that's a little bit easier that way. And then on this one, I'm gonna stamp that little flower. Now you can see on the punch, with the little flower, we need it more of like an X. So it fits in the punch better. I'm gonna just take this toward the bottom in the corner here and stamp that down. Let's put a little embossing powder on him. Looks good so far. While we're at it, let's go ahead and bring in this green and this little leaf. Now let's look at the punch again. So when you put your paper in your punch, you're going to put it in this way. So I want the top of the leaf at the top of my paper. And I'm going to just stamp that one. And I'm hoping, I can't really see my ink, but I'm hoping I leave enough room between leaves. We'll see how it does when I put the embossed powder on there. Yep, look, I did pretty good. So there we go. And I'm going to turn my heat gun on. Now Stampin' Up's heat gun, and I'll show you in a minute, has 2 settings, so you want to make sure that you click the button twice. And I'm going to let it heat up as I kind of clean up and get things out of the way. And then, now that it's warm, it won't take very long to melt this embossing powder, which is really, I believe, just shaved plastic. We just want to melt it onto our paper so it stays there. And that embossing powder on that Shimmer Vellum is beautiful. You have to be careful because you can actually burn your paper and your hands, which is not fun. The heat gun gets very warm. I like to just kind of run it along. Sometimes you have to rotate the heat gun to get the heat going the way you want it. But just quickly, that's the bottom of my stem here, there we go. And you can see when it turns from a powder to like a shimmer or like a shiny clear plastic, that's when you know that it's all melted and ready to go. After you melt it all, you might want to let it sit for just a few minutes and cool down. It could just be a little bit, I'm going to say sticky, but it just needs to cool back to that plastic form. Okay, so there we have all of our flowers and our leaves. Let's bring in that punch. And we'll just go like this. There's one little flower. Get this big flower here. If you get paper stuck in, just punch, 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 and then pretty soon it turns into confetti. Then we got this flower here. Ooh, I almost don't have enough room to hang on to it. Nope, looks pretty good. There we go. And then those little leaves should just slip in there nicely. And there's 1 and 2. Wait, I'm going to trim off the end here. Goes in my punch nicer. And then 3. So let's get rid of all this mess here. Bring in our little pieces. I think, do I have 3 leaves? 1, 2, where did my, here he is, my 3rd leaf. Clean all this out of the way. Okay, so let's set all of this aside. We have all of our little pieces. Let's get our jar piece ready here. So these are our mason jar domes. Let's see how many, if it says they come into a package. There's 10 in a package here. They're really cute, I think. You just take out 1 here. And I'm gonna lay it, so this is the back, and I'm gonna just fill it with a little bit of this lavender seed. Now, to be honest with you, I have no idea where you find lavender seed. I had a friend of mine had some, and I got it from her. But I bet you could find it online, or even maybe if a friend has a lavender plant. But I'm gonna almost fill up my little dome. Try not to make a mess. I think that little, I'm gonna spill them all over, watch. I'm gonna try not to. And then I'm gonna just take a little bit of lavender oil and put a couple drops, maybe 3 drops of oil in there. Maybe I am. Usually I get 2, there we go, now he's coming. 1, 2, see, once you go, boy, watch out. There we go. And then I have, this is mulberry paper. Now, I don't have mulberry paper in my online store. I believe I bought it on Amazon. Like I said, it was a couple years ago. a little bit, trust me, you'll have mulberry paper forever, because you only need a little bit of paper that was going to cover your jar. So this is just a scrap. I don't even know how big it is. But now I'm going to take this back cover off of the jar and lay, without sticking to my fingers, my mulberry paper just right there onto my jar. And turn it over, and I'm even going to use my bone folder here to just give a good press so that it's nice and stuck on there. And then with just a pair of paper snips, I'm going to trim that excess paper away. And I probably won't be perfect, but I'm going to just get as close as I can so that the back of my air freshener looks pretty good. Yeah, that's not bad, right? So then it looks like this in the front, and it looks like this in the back. Okay. Now, and then we're going to slip this through this hole like this, but first we need to put a piece of ribbon around the rim here. And I have here that 1/4 inch, I believe it's 1 inch crinkled white seam binding ribbon that I'm going to just do like this. So I'm going to pull up this sticker, and for now I'm going to just pull off the top of the sticker. Well, I'm going to try. There we go. And kind of just let the sticker of the jar do the work for me, and put that down like that, and then just make sure that's stuck good with that sticker. And then I'm going to just trim off the edge here again. Oh, you know, let me get my ribbon scissors. They work so much better. I've saved a pair of paper snips for just ribbon, and they cut ribbon so much better than the paper snips I use for paper. There we go. Now we have the ribbon on there. Then for now, since I have my ribbon right here, I'm going to go ahead and just tie a little bow. Maybe. Must be Monday. I feel like it's all thumbs today trying to tie a bow. We'll see if I can get it done. I just need a little bow. I don't want a big one. There we go. Look, that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let me pull him real tight here. And that one side keeps slipping. There we go. Now I think he looks pretty good. Darn it, and I'm going to waste a lot of ribbon. I guess that's not a lot, huh? It looks like that. And then I also have just a piece of 12-inch ribbon here, and that's what we're going to do at the top when we tie the ribbon on. Oh, and look what I have forgot to do. So with that trio punch, it has this punch here that's going to make the perfect hole for our ribbon to go through. So I'm going to slip it here. I'm going to try to get it in the center. I'm terrible. They have a little groove here that helps you find the center, but I'm terrible at getting the center just by eyeball. Let's see how I do this time. The flower's going to cover up. It doesn't even matter. Oh, see? And I'm way off center. But like I said, my flower's going to cover up that hole anyway, so I'm not going to worry about it. Let's go ahead and take this cover off of our little jar, and then just lay our paper over it. And now we have that little jar through our paper. And again, with my bone folder, I'm going to make sure that that's really stuck down. Looks like that. And look how cute now. Is that not adorable? I think it's great. Okay, let's just go ahead and finish up. First thing I'm going to do is just go ahead and tie my ribbon, put it through that hole. Maybe. All thumbs, I tell you. And then just up here, I'm going to just tie a simple knot. Take the two together and bring them through. And then pull it to the very end. I want to give the people who hang this up as much room as they can, because now they could hang it in their, on their rear view mirror. They could hang it in the bathroom. Lots of room there. With my little flowers, I'm going to just take a little mini dimensional and put it in the center of the two big flowers. And then I'm going to use a glue dot Oh, but before I do that, oh no, I'm going to use a glue dot. I had a brain fart there. A glue dot on my leaf, all 3 of them. Maybe I lost my 3rd leaf. Nope, there he is. And put those on first. So I got right there, right there, and right there. And then on this one, I'm going to put a little glue dot in the center of this flower. And I think I want my little flower there. And then, like I said, my larger flower here is going to cover up that, oh, almost, yep, look, he covers up that hole. That's off center, don't tell anybody. And then this one will go right there. Adorable, right? Now let's finish him off with a little bit of bling. So I'm going to use these elegant faceted gems. I love these things. And for those big flowers, I'm going to just take and put one of the big ones here and here. And now you can see that my gems are almost all gone. They come in clear, white, and this champagne. And for some reason, I just love that champagne. Although, look, I've used almost all the clear and white. But I'm going to put these in the center here. Maybe I am. Yes. Right there. And then the last thing that I'm going to add is that little bumblebee trinket. I think these are adorable. I'm going to just put a little glue dot on the back of him. And then stick him right down here. Yeah, I think that looks cute. So this one, on this one you can see I just used the tag topper punch. But this one, I didn't have the tag topper punch anymore, so now I just use the regular trio, the detailed trio punch, and it worked out just fine. So you'll have to let me know. You think this is something, oh, I almost forgot my little bow. Dang, hold on a second, then we'll talk about the ending. We put my little bow on a glue dot, and then just put my little bow right here on the front. There we go. Now, you'll have to let me know if you think these will sell at a craft fair. I've never taken air fresheners to a craft fair before, but I think they might be a little bit popular. So there's those 2, and then where's my original one from a long time ago? There you go. You'll have to let me know what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you back here Friday for yes, another Christmas card that I'm very excited about. See you later. Bye-bye.